If you're watching this video, you're interested in the cost of living of Spain versus Netherlands. How much you have to pay and how much money you actually can make. Myself, I'm Dutch, I've been living in Spain for a couple of years, so I'm gonna talk from real experience, and I put up a lot of data combined and tell you exactly what you can expect from each country. So let's get started with the average net salary you can make in both countries. So the average net salary in Netherlands is 3,400 euros and the average net salary in Spain is 2,250 euros. Of course, this really depends on which area you work. For especially in Spain, if you work in Barcelona or Madrid, or you work in a smaller city or in Alicante, for example, there's a big gap between the big major cities or smaller towns. Then the salary decreases big time. So take this into account. If you're looking at cities in smaller cities in Spain, you can expect lower salary than Barcelona and Madrid. Well, in Netherlands, of course, there's some differences between, like, if you work in Eindhoven or Amsterdam, Rotterdam, or like maybe in Groningen, but the difference is not as big as in Spain. So take that into account. So we're gonna look at how much is a common high income range. So that's also a thing to take into account. So in Spain, it says a common high income range is 4,000 to 6,000 euros a month. Netherlands, that could be up to 6,000 to 10,000 euros a month. Yeah, tech finance salary ceiling is like 70 to 90k in Spain, and in the Netherlands it's 100 to 130k. English speaking jobs in Spain, yeah, moderate, not that much. Netherlands, a lot of English speaking jobs. A lot of foreigners don't even speak Dutch and they can get an English speaking job, so it's way easier to get a job over there, and they sponsor visas as well. So yeah, the ease of earning six figures in Spain is very difficult. Netherlands, not that easy as well compared to United States, but it's definitely doable if you have a good career path. Now we're gonna go to the rent, and I'm gonna compare the two major cities to other major cities, because I think that's a fair comparison. Because of course, if you're gonna compare Amsterdam to Alicante, yeah, there's just a big of a gap. So yeah, we're choosing Madrid and Barcelona and Amsterdam and Rotterdam. For a one bedroom apartment, think about in Barcelona, Madrid, around 1k till 1,200. And Amsterdam, it's even like 1,700 up to 2.2k. Yeah, of course, it depends really what is your location. If you're in the city center, yeah, the prices go very high in Amsterdam, but if you're a bit on the outer ring, you can get maybe a cheaper price than 1,700. Because, I mean, times change, but I was renting my apartment out for 1,700. There was a 2-bedroom. Yeah, of course, the rental prices have increased in Netherlands. There's a shortage of rental units because of regulation, so it's very difficult to find rental apartments. Rotterdam is a bit cheaper. According to the data, it's 1,300 up to 1,600 for 1-bedroom apartment in the city center. So yeah, Rotterdam is definitely cheaper than Amsterdam. Still, it's also expensive. Yeah, renting in Amsterdam can be nearly double the price of Madrid. So yeah, it's something to take into account. Then buying property in Madrid, it's 4,000 up to 5,000 euros per square meter. Barcelona, 4,500 up to 5,500, depending on the neighborhood. You can get cheaper properties, actually, like you can get them at 3,500. Of course, you need to put some money into the renovation, but this is the average prices. Yeah, then Amsterdam, 8,000 up to 10,000 euros per square meter. High price. So almost, yeah, double as Barcelona and Madrid. And Rotterdam, it says 5,500 up to 6,500 euros per square meter. Honestly, I'm not that familiar with the Rotterdam market. I know it's a bit cheaper. Didn't expect it to be this much cheaper than Amsterdam. So that's a big difference, because yeah, it's almost on par of Barcelona. Amsterdam is definitely the most expensive city in the Netherlands. Highest square meter price. Conclusion, buying in the Netherlands is 40% up to 80% more expensive than in Spain. Transfer tax at the moment are pretty similar. In Netherlands, you can get a higher loan to value than in Spain. In Spain, you definitely need to put more cash First-time home buyers in the Netherlands get a lower transfer tax than in Spain, so the entry to barrier is a bit lower if you have, if you're with a couple and you make a good salary. It's a bit easier to buy something than in Spain. Let's talk about groceries. Honestly, there's not that much of a difference. It's a bit cheaper in Spain. Here it says also like the average monthly groceries is 250 to 300 euros in Spain, while in Netherlands is 350 to 450 euros. Yeah, Spain is significantly cheaper for especially fresh foods, fresh meat, like good quality stuff is definitely cheaper. If you go to a fresh market, fish market, these fresh food is cheaper than Netherlands. So if you want higher quality products, it's definitely cheaper in Spain. Also depends which supermarket you go. If you go to Albert Heijn or you go to Lidl, there's a big difference between those supermarkets. In Spain, I would say the prices are pretty similar in most supermarkets. Of course, one is a little bit more expensive, but for me, like Albert Heijn and Lidl, there's just a very big gap. While in Spain, between the supermarkets, there's not that much of a gap. Say you spend 100 to 200 euros more in groceries in the Netherlands than in Spain, and the quality of food in Spain is better. However, I miss the fresh juices from Albert Heijn. The juice here in Spain is not as good, so that's something I miss. And spend a lot of money on water. I don't have to spend money on water in Netherlands because I can just drink it from the tap, and here I buy a lot of bottles. So it's like a small expense, like still it adds up all those bottled waters every day. And if you combine it in a year, it still adds up. Let's talk now about food, restaurants and bars. And yeah, Spain, as most people know, it's very famous for its food, and it's definitely cheaper. Especially if you go for lunch, you can get the menu del dia. This is a 3-course menu. This can be like 12 to 15 euros. I made another video, you can check it out. For like a menu del dia is 12 to 15 euros, maybe 20 euros max for 3-course lunch. Well, in Netherlands, I mean, if you want to have the same, like most people don't eat that much for lunch anyway, but let's say here it says 18 to 22 euros for lunch, but could be more, in my opinion. Especially if you order the same amount of food, will be more than that. Then a dinner for two in Spain will be 40 to 60 euros, Netherlands 70 to 90 euros. A beer 3 to 4 euros. I think that's a bit expensive. Should be like even 2 to 4, because there are places you can get a beer for 2 euros. Netherlands says 5 to 6 euro 50. I think you can also get cheaper than 5 euros a beer. So maybe 3 till 6.50 depending where you are. And yeah, this is a thing with going out for food. If you want higher quality food, better food than just regular Spanish food, it's pretty much the same in my opinion. Like let's say I go for Korean food. In Barcelona, I spend maybe 100 euros for 2 people. And in Netherlands, I spend 120 euros. So I would say it's just 20% more. So it's not that much compared to if you look at the average salary. Yeah, so there's always a misconception. Yes, food is cheaper in Spain and you can get these good deals. But if you like nicer non-Spanish food, then the price is not that much different. It's slightly more expensive in Netherlands, but of course also the salaries are way more high compared to Spain. So yeah, if you look at the average salary and then if you want to go out for dinner, it's quite expensive for the local people. Now I'm comparing hotels. This is the data that I pulled up. Average hotel for 3-star, 80 to 120 euros in Barcelona. Amsterdam, 120 to 180 euros. Then 4-star, 130 to 180 in Barcelona. Netherlands, 180 to 250. Yeah, these prices, I mean, in summer they definitely go up in Barcelona. Amsterdam probably as well. So high season in Barcelona hotels are very expensive, and what you get for it's not that good. If you can come not in July or August, you're gonna pay a cheaper price. Transportation, Spain definitely wins on this part, 100%. It's so much cheaper. Public transport. Netherlands public transport is ridiculously expensive for no reason. There are not that many connections. There's always delays, always something going on, strikes, whatever, and it's expensive. It says here, so in Spain it says 40 till 60 euros a month. I mean, myself in Barcelona, I just get a Metro card, unlimited, it's 20 euros a month. And in Netherlands it says 100 to 120 euros a month. Like if you need to do longer distances, it could be even 200. So it's way more expensive, but yeah, most of the companies they pay for this public transport pass for these expenses. Then taxi, definitely cheaper here. Yeah, 8 to 10 euros for 5 kilometer, 15 to 18 in Netherlands for 5 kilometer. Yeah. Then gasoline, I mean, these prices change all the time. It says here €1.60, €1.75 in Spain, €2.10, €2.30 in Netherlands. Car insurance, 300 to 600 a year in Spain, then 700 to 1K a year in Netherlands. Yeah, to buy a new car, it's slightly more expensive in Netherlands. Here it says average 18 to 24K in Spain and 21 till 28K in Netherlands. Healthcare, public healthcare is free for Spanish residents. Yeah, it's free, but it takes very long to get something. Netherlands is a mandatory insurance. They have a system that you get like a subsidy from the government and you need to pay like 30 bucks of your own pocket if you're a low income earner. Then private insurance, it says 30 to 90 euros a month. Netherlands 120 to 150. Yeah, subsidies and benefits, both countries are welfare states. They help the lower class of the people. So let's start with Spain. Parental leave, 16 weeks paid, 100%, same for Netherlands. Childcare subsidy, limited, depends on the income. Netherlands very high, up to 95% for low earners. Housing assistance is rare, mostly for local people. Netherlands, it's common. You have something, it's called huurtoeslag. This is like money for your rent, but this is based on your rent and income. Then health subsidy, yeah, because it's free healthcare in Spain, doesn't exist. Then as I told you, there's a health insurance subsidy, zorgtoeslag in Netherlands. That was the subsidy for the healthcare. Yeah, the Netherlands offers more structured, predictable subsidies, but of course it comes with more paperwork and income testing. Okay, then now tax. Nobody wants to pay tax, but we have to pay tax to get the country running. So let's see, Spain and the Netherlands, both high tax countries. Income tax in Spain starts at 19 up to 45. Netherlands says 36 till 49.5. Corporate tax is 25% in both countries. However, Netherlands has 15 for the first 300k. First 2 years in Spain is also 15%. Yeah, VAT, value added tax, is 21% in both countries. Then capital gains tax is 19 up to 26% in Spain. And in Netherlands, there's not such a thing as like directly capital gains at the moment. They have like a wealth-based tax system, box 3 it's called. It's a bit complicated to explain in such a short amount of time. But yeah, so basically if you sell your property, there's not and you have the profit, there's no direct capital gains. However, they look at your overall wealth and they put a 6.5% return that you have to pay. So yeah, it's a bit more complicated. Check out box 3 and then you can see what the exact taxes you need to pay for your wealth in Netherlands. Always, I'm not a tax disclaimer, I'm not a tax accountant or lawyer, so always check with someone that's specialized. If you have questions, I can refer you to people I know and they can help you better with this than me. I like to add that in Spain, for me as a starter, there's less incentives and the tax authority is way more strict and it's not that flexible with write-offs, and their system is just not that well made for entrepreneurs. Well, in Netherlands, you can see maybe on paper it's high, but they're way more flexible with writing offs, a bit more flexible with certain structures or things you can do. So for me, I felt like Netherlands is a bit more pro-business friendly compared to Spain. That's my personal experience, and that's what I heard from other entrepreneurs as well. So yeah, that's something to take also into account, that if you're an entrepreneur, I would say Netherlands is a bit more tax friendly than Spain. Last but not least, we're going to talk about real estate taxes. So rental income tax in Spain is 19% for non-residents and 24% for non-EU residents. I made a whole video about rental income tax, property taxes about Spain, so you can check it out if you want to know more about it. And if you're a resident, it's based on your total amount of income. Then Netherlands is not taxed directly, but it's box 3 again. So I will explain briefly what it is. So the property is taxed as part of your total net worth. This is box 3 with a fictional return taxed at around 6% at the moment. So that's quite high. And then property taxes, annual property tax in Spain is 0.4 to 1.1 of the cadastral value. Netherlands is 0.1 to 0.2 of assessed value. Wealth tax 0.2 till 3 to 5% from 700k upwards. So below it's no wealth tax. Netherlands is none. Again, box 3 applies. So it's check out box 3 and you will know more how that works. Okay, then the summary, which country is better? I mean, it's hard to compare. For me, I love both countries. Spain definitely has the good weather, and that makes the quality of life here so good. You're just way more outside. However, Netherlands is way better organized, more structured. It's just way easier to arrange things. And I think if you want to make money, it's an easier and better country to grow your career. It's easier to get higher paying jobs. Just faster, more business opportunities, and you don't need to speak the local language necessary. So yeah, 95% of the people speak English. That's a very common way to do business, and just in English. Of course, if you can speak Dutch, it's a pro. Well, in Spain, if you don't speak Spanish, it's a bit more difficult. So that's a con, and you can just see that a lot of people, I know from my friends or network, it's just more difficult for them to get jobs, to even get a job because they're not from Europe, they need to get a visa sponsored. So I just see that it's a bit more difficult for them to get like normal paying jobs. And I don't know that many people that actually make more than 6 figures here in Barcelona. So, well, in Netherlands, I know way more people that make that money. But if you're a low income earner, I think Spain has the better lifestyle because things are cheaper, you have the nicer weather, so you can still enjoy the small things, and it's just a bit easier to get around compared to Netherlands. Final thoughts, in Netherlands you earn more, you spend also more on everything, but your purchase power is higher when you go abroad. You can pay easier for holidays. In Spain, your salary is lower, but things are also cheaper. But it's getting more expensive, and once you go abroad, you're gonna travel to the United States, it's more difficult to pay for your holiday. Remote worker and you make Western, Dutch salary, US salary, yeah, of course, Spain is a no-brainer. You have the good weather and you make the good money from USA or wherever you make it. Yeah, it's an easy choice to live over here because everything is cheaper. Yeah, so in the end, each country has their pros and cons. Let me know in the comments what you think about this video. Which country you live in. Do you live in Netherlands, or you live in Spain, or you live anywhere else? You want to move to any of these countries, let me know. I can definitely help you out, can give you some advice or direct you to the right people. If you want to buy real estate, for example, definitely can help you out with that. And let me know in the comments what you think, what's the better option, Netherlands or Spain? And what do you think about the cost of living in both countries? Thank you for watching and see you next time. Adios.